What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. On the video today, I decided to take you guys with me. I'm going up in the woods here on our property. We have 30 acres here in northeast PA, and I'm cutting ATV trails. I'm cutting ATV trails through our woods to make them not only more enjoyable but accessible, to get to the stands and to have some fun in the woods when it's not hunting season, because we have ATVs and dirt bikes, quads, we have lawn mowers that are just for riding, with big tires, things like that. So we like to have a lot of fun. So what I've been doing, actually, here's one now. I've been marking the trails and then cleaning them up and cutting them out. This is the most used part of the trail. But what you get a lot of times, this is a different here, so maybe it'll be lower. So what you get a lot of times is trees, and then of course we don't have too much of it, some overgrowth up here in the woods, because where you have this huge canopy that keeps all the sun from getting to the ground, we don't have a lot of overgrowth. Not that things don't grow, but they don't grow as easy where you're riding your ATV, where it would grow a lot easier out in the sun. So over the last couple weeks, apart from just riding the trails, I've been cutting some trails. I'll take you on one now. I'll flip it in the full dragger. So here in the woods here, we had this like T-section. We go straight to another part of our property, or we can hook a left here to the middle portion, I guess you could say. So what I'm gonna do, because yesterday, the day before yesterday, there was all these trees. You can see all the ones that I cut up there. I cut all this up here. There's some big overhang up there. You can see some big down trees up there. All that was covering this. Now it's cleared out. So I'm gonna flip the camera around here and keep talking to you. I don't want to go too fast because I got the trailer on. But I cleared all this out. Some of the trees I moved over there. A bunch over there I cut. This thing was in the way, I had to move that. That was in the way, I had to move that. And then you obviously have to clean up some overhead here. Break some of this off. And nobody poking their eye out when they're coming through here. Now, this path was ridden in the past. It was let go for about 15 years, so it was very overgrown. There was a tree here I had to get rid of. The tracks that your ATV will make will come back just from riding. Driving up and down here, your ATV will make its own tracks and it'll be more distinctive. But I really enjoy riding through the woods here. I run into a lot of game, wildlife. Very dense woods here. There could be some deer laying down 15, 20 feet from you. And a lot of the times they won't even move. Because they're not worried about me. They're not worried that I'm going to hurt them. This is a big section up here. I had to do a lot of cutting the other day. I have some leveling I have to do up in here. There's a big tree there. There's a big tree there. Big tree there. All this I cut out. Got up in the path here. Alright. Let's stop. stop the Kawasaki Brute Force 750. So what we have here is like an intersection where two of my trails meet. And what I did was kind of put some reflective orange. It's like that photochromatic safety tape that when you shine lights at it, it reflects. Take a picture of it, it'll reflect back at you. But just to make things more easily seen here in the woods, just show you this intersection, and so that people don't get confused. Because you can get easily confused. There might be an opening there, and you think you can go up there, but you know, I easily laid out the path here so that these two trails can meet here. So I'm gonna walk up here. And what I did was I put these trail markers straight, left, and then we have the tape up to show you the corner. But this trail, the top side, this is the top portion. This one goes around the outside of the whole property, all 30 acres. And then I have trails that intersect in between. And then I have excuse me. Then I have trails that go back and forth through the relatives, because we have relatives on the other side. There's over 100 acres here of all family that we have trails cut where we can just jump on the ATVs and go between each other's houses. So then, you know, this upper trail goes up through there. It's all completely marked. They got trail markers up there when you follow the yellow path, for instance. You're staying on property. That way, if you get turned around here in the woods, green path goes to one friend, blue path goes to another family member, I mean. Then we have a red path that goes to another neighbor over there. So it's all individually marked, and we know what the paths mean. And then if we have guests up here, we just tell you to stay on the yellow path, you'll be all right. If you get on a different path, just turn around. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. Cutting these up and getting these trails laid out so that we can have some more fun here on the property. So these intersecting paths, the ones that go through the middle, so the outside portion is done. I'm just cleaning them up, and I'm going to show you a little bit of what I do, because I'll take my Ego chainsaw for any of the big stuff, my Ego hedge trimmer for all the little stuff, then I have a Sawzall. I've also got a machete, just a little bit of everything. So like for instance here, you see this has been traveled in the past, but it hasn't in years, so it's all overgrown. In those 10-15 years, this tree grew. Whoa, it's falling over actually. So that tree grew and died apparently in the meantime. But all this is down over the way. All that's down over the way. And I'm going to go through there and recarve the path that we have laid out. It looks like down there. So here's another substantial tree across the path. I'm going to kind of show you a little bit of all that. I don't want this video to be too long. I just want to give you guys an idea of how I like to do it. If I was cutting a virgin trail through the woods, all you really have to do is make it enjoyable. Don't like say, okay, we got an opening here between these two trees, I'm going to cut one straight through there. Well, I don't know if you see what I see straight through there. See that thing right there covered in moss? That looks to be about 1,000-pound rock. It is much easier to go around that rock than it is to go through and over that rock without equipment. If I had a mini excavator up here, that'd be different. But for instance, like this would be a better path here. You can go around all those rocks over there. All those rocks. You could stick in between that and that tree up there. Weave your way all the way around there without going over those rocks. Kind of make it easier on yourself. And then, like I said, the paths will form themselves the more you travel on them. So, let's get to it. both of these work great for, heck, I've cut huge trees with this thing. But, you know, you're limited. This thing's about 12 inches. I think you have like 9 inches of exposed blade on this. But it really works great for the roots and the vines, everything that's down close to the ground. Because if this goes into the ground, which it does a lot, these are very cheap and inexpensive and really fast to switch out. That's a lot better than having to replace a chain all the time, because you're digging into the dirt. You could destroy a chain really, really fast if that's what you're gonna do. But these both work really great. Now we're gonna move down some more, cut up that log, and then I'll show you the upper paths. I won't bore you with this whole thing, but I'll show you the upper paths and things I've done a long time ago, and we frequently travel, to show you basically kind of what it could turn into. So maybe I'll work on an outdoor gear sponsor after this video goes viral. But a couple things: wear glasses, safety glasses. Don't be like me. I'm just gonna tell you what to do, not what I do. But you know, little things can fall in your eye, especially when you're cutting overhead. Be careful with vines. Vines are very unpredictable. They might seem like they're tough and sturdy. You pull on them, you can't get them down. As soon as you cut them, then they start falling from trees, or they whip back at you once, you know, because look, they're stiff to a point and flexible to a point. And also gear. I switched to a like a muck style boot a while ago. These roll up, goes almost to my knee. Never regret it in a day in my life. For one, it's nasty out here. I don't know if you can see all the bugs buzzing around my head. It's dirty, it's nasty. You can see how easy it is to start sweating and to get filthy. But there's a lot of leaves and sticks and mud. I've stepped on snakes. I had a snake strike at my boot. I don't remember if he like hit it, and it was only like a black snake, like a water snake. But so he probably wouldn't have been able to, you know, do much anyways. But if that was a rattlesnake, this boot just might save my, I don't know if they're rated for that, but this boot just might save me from having to go to the hospital. But just be careful, guys, when you're cutting these paths through the trails. Also, let somebody know that you're doing it. That way, if something happens, you have a tree fall on you and you're pinned, or something else, you're attacked by an animal, you know, even though black bear are pretty docile, it is the season where they are running around with their cubs, and you don't want to mess with a black bear, a mama black bear and her cubs. She will attack you, and I will defend myself with a chainsaw if I have to. But I'm also armed out here just in case. But just be careful, guys. Make sure you let somebody know where you're at. That way, if they try to get a hold of you, you can't, or you go unresponsive or not heard of for a couple hours, they come looking for you. But it's always a great idea. Now we're going to move the camera down and show you how to get rid of that log, and then we'll take a zip around the upper trail. Okay guys, so what we got here is a downed tree. Looks to be about 10 inches, maybe, yeah, 11, maybe 10, 11 inches across. So this isn't going to do it. Could you do it with this? Sure, it'd just take a while. But it's not the best tool for the job. Now when you're doing things like this, you got to remember it's going to collapse. You got to test it, see what it's being hung up by. A lot of times these are just so rotted you don't need to do much. Put a strap around them, drag them out of the way. But this one is not completely dead, so I'm going to cut it here in the middle. The reason I'm going to do that and not in a couple different sections, and I'll tell you why I'd like to do that, is because sometimes the woods can get confusing, and without me, you know, putting miles and miles and miles of that tape down, I like to mark with the logs that I cut where to go. So what I'll do is I'll cut this down the middle here, let both sides collapse, then I'll just pick it up and then put this side over there, marking that side of the trail, and this side I'll drag this way, marking this side of the trail. That way you just drive right between them. It's the easiest way I found out. A lot of times it serves me, you know, just fine. On that last portion up there, I showed you a log that was cut up about 9 times, because that tree probably fell within the last year or so, and it was very, very heavy. So I had to cut it up in sections about this big and then roll them out of the way, just because it was so heavy. I couldn't pick it up. And it wasn't in a good area where I could navigate the quad, put a strap and drag it out of there. Sometimes you could do that, sometimes it's just not in a perfect spot. But let's get this thing cut up and let's move on. We got the Ego 56 volt. This is the 16 inch. This is the 2021 model, I believe. The newer one is a little faster. The motor's more efficient. But this one, you know, works just fine. It's got a self-oiler battery, fully charged. I've used it a lot. This thing is every bit as good as a gas chainsaw. Obviously you're just limited on battery, but this thing will do everything my 16-inch steel can do. Maybe I'll do a video showing you guys, but for right now we're just going to use this. It's a lot nicer because then I don't have to carry gas and all these tools. Everything that you could do with this chainsaw, you could do with the hands. You don't need tools to do anything. Tighten the chain, whatever. But so I'm just going to do a relief cut here in the middle and let it fall, and we're going to get this thing cut. Roll up my boots so I don't get any sawdust down them. There you have it. That's in 2 pieces. I'm going to put the chainsaw in the trailer and I'll move this log out of the way. This side's a little heavier than I thought it was going to be. Oh, all right. That's that. Don't hurt yourself, guys. If you're unable to lift the log, just cut it in smaller pieces. But I'm going to go here for a little bit. I won't show you the boring parts. But I'm going to disconnect the trailer and go up on the upper part and show you guys the basically what this is going to look like after a couple months of riding on it. All right, let's get going. See how this is all worn in here? We travel on these trails up here quite a bit. So there's another path up that way. Here, I'll show you that. Another path up that way to get to some relatives. There's another path up that way to get to some neighbors, and then this is the big loop here on this side. I won't take you to the other side of the property. So we're covering about 5 or 6 acres here. I'll look back around. Where we came from, and this is also where we came from, but I'm going to go through here. Honestly, guys, you know, I just showed you 5 miles an hour right there. That's, you know, on the upper part of what I do through the woods here. I normally don't drive super fast through the woods. Normally I just kind of cruise at a comfortable, quiet, slow pace. 2 to 3 miles an hour. That way I can enjoy the woods, enjoy the wildlife, enjoy my trails. So yeah, guys, leave a thumbs up on the video, subscribe if you like the content. If you want to see more of these videos, leave a comment in the comment section below. Maybe once I'm done with all these trails, I'll do a camera on the front of the quad, and then we'll actually travel them. I figured it out. It's going to be between 5 and 7 miles of trails just on our property when I'm done going around the outside, and then the 3, maybe 4 trails that are in between, that go between all that. And I'll kind of show you a map here without revealing too much of our property, but I'll kind of show you a map here. Yeah, we'll do a future video once it's all finished. I'd like to thank you for stopping by. This is Josh from the 570. If you have any tips, if you've done similar things, tried to cut some ATV trails through the woods, and you can lend me some pointers, or if you have some ideas, let me know. We'll see you next time, guys. Okay, some more tips. You got to be careful of things like this, guys. See this right here, this tree? That is not connected. That is actually part of that tree. So it broke off from a bigger tree that was over there. But that piece right there is just loose, laying up against the limbs of that tree. So you got to be careful when you're knocking that down and getting it down. But another thing I want to bring up, we have this problem, especially here in northeast Pennsylvania. That ash borer beetle came through years ago. That's why a lot of these trees are falling. All the ash trees are dying. Now here's one. This one's still alive, but when you go all the way to the top, because that thing's about 80 feet, 85 feet, it's starting to die at the top. That means if you're not going to use this tree, if you're not going to get it down now, it's going to fall eventually. It's starting to die. The one next to it, however, is already dying. You can see all the bark all the way up, gone. All the limbs. This is part of the bark, and I just cleaned up all the limbs. The limbs that come off of these things, people like to call them widow makers. Like big ice sickles or big limbs. One of those big limbs comes down and hits you on the dome piece, you're dead. Will make you a widow. Make your wife a widow. So, I'm not even going to attempt to cut this down. I'm going to let it fall down naturally. I'm just going to stay away from it, and every time I go by it, I'm going to go by it fast. That way, I'm possibly out of danger. Along with the bark falling off from these beetles, the woodpeckers love these beetles. They actually eat them. We have that big, nice, I'll show you a picture of it now, that imperial woodpecker, the one they modeled Woody Woodpecker from. That's here in PA. We have a whole bunch of them in these woods. They're very, very beautiful birds. They're actually probably one of the biggest woodpeckers you're ever going to see in your life. They're pretty neat to see. Nice, big, bright red head. But they eat those bugs too. So a lot of times, let's see here. They're all over the place. A lot of times, I don't see any in the immediate area. There's some. You see like that damage right there? That at one point was a woodpecker on that tree eating those bugs. Which is good and bad at the same time, because the woodpecker will destroy the tree. But that's the natural way for these trees to fall. Okay, here I found the rest of that tree. It's right there. That's the natural way for these trees to fall. We've even got some woodpecker damage on this tree too. You can see in here, a woodpecker was in here chewing away, getting at those bugs. And the whole inside, just hollow. But yeah, this is all this, and part of that and that tree that I just showed you is probably the very, very top of that. Like I said, that's the base of the tree. That's not the base of a tree. That is broken off from another tree. It's just laying up there. So we're gonna get that ripped out of here and then continue this path. I just ran into a nice big section. This isn't too bad to clear out of here, but I've got probably a dozen trees across the path there. So I got my work cut out for me. We'll see you soon, guys. Okay, roughly 20-25 minutes and a half gallon of sweat later. That area I just showed you all the way back. That last big tree you see down there, I just cut it down. Cleaned all that up. So we got another 150 feet of trail cleared beyond what I did already for today. So it looks like maybe one more way down there in the distance, if you can see that way down there, and then we'll be done for today. I'm gonna take a break, go back to the house, sit in the AC, and drink some water. But I know I said this before. This is me signing off. Comment, hit that like button, share, subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side.